Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. We have an outstanding program this afternoon with exemplary guests to be talking about the City of North Chicago Citizens Advisory Committee. And we have three of the charter members here this evening. To my immediate left is Nina Hampton Stokes. She's a charter member of the Citizens Advisory Committee. Normally she's a co-host, but tonight her role is a member of the North Chicago Citizens Advisory Committee. To her left is Anthony Tony Jones. He's the chairman of the North Chicago Citizens Advisory Committee, and he's also a charter member. And our anchor person is Donna Lee Simon Kalinowski. She's also a charter member of the Citizen Advisory Committee. Greetings, folks.
Greetings to you, Doctor.
We're very happy that all of you have taken time from your busy schedule to be with us on Community Forum to let North Chicago citizens know about how the city is progressing with the Citizens Advisory Committee. I would like for Anthony to start off by telling us a little bit about your personal and professional background. Who is Anthony? And your friends call you Tony.
Exactly.
So if I can call you Tony tonight, it's okay with you.
Yes. Well, I'm Tony Jones. I've been in North Chicago since 1992. Grew up in Chicago, Illinois, on the south side. After high school, went to the military, went to the U.S. Army. I was a military police officer there, stayed in there a little over 6 years. Got out in 1988, and a couple of months later became an Illinois State Trooper. I was with the Illinois State Police for 26 years, did 10 years on patrol, year of auto theft up here in Lake County. Then the last 14 years I was assigned to the Illinois Gaming Board, where I was an investigator, and when I retired back 2 years ago, I left as a lieutenant, the operations officer over the investigations division, doing regulatory investigations on casino employees, casino companies, as well as video gaming companies. And since then, I've just been enjoying retired life.
Well, what piqued your interest in the North Chicago Citizen Advisory Committee?
Well, I mean, I had a background in law enforcement, so I've been in public service just about my whole adult life. So when there was a call that they were forming a committee, I talked to the mayor, Mayor Rockingham. I talked to him, and just to find out what was going to be some of the duties or the roles of the committee. And after he told me, I was like, you know, I think I'd make a bigger person for that committee, because I could see both sides of the coin as being a citizen of North Chicago, and also having a law enforcement background and dealing with policies and procedures of a police department. I can kind of see both sides. So I submitted my name, and he selected me. So
fantastic. You know, when was the committee organized?
It was organized in April of 2014. It got organized. The reason for the committee being organized was the events involving Daryl Hannah and him succumbing to injuries that were reportedly by the police during an arrest. So during that time, the Department of Justice came in, had a meeting with the mayors, the aldermen, the community leaders, religious leaders, and one of the suggestions was for the mayor to form a citizens advisory committee, almost like an oversight committee to improve the relations between the citizens and their police department. So, and that's when I guess once they got it together, then that's when they called out and asked for people who were interested in joining to join the committee. And I think it was like 24 candidates submitted names, and the mayor had to choose 7. So
you were the lucky ones.
we were 3 of the lucky ones.
Right. Well, how often do you meet?
We meet quarterly. We were meeting monthly when the committee first started because we needed to get our policies and all our rules together. But now that the policies and rules are in place, we kind of meet quarterly. And if need be, we can always call a special meeting. If an event happens where we need to get involved, we can always call a special meeting and meet then. But our meetings are public. They're open to the public, citizen comments, everything, and they're held at City Hall, either in council chambers or the West Conference Room, and they're posted online and they're posted at City Hall at least 48 hours before. So,
fantastic. And it's a non-paying.
Yeah, it's a non-paying position. You have to want to do it.
Yeah, donating your time. Great, great. Nina, you have a new role now.
Yes.
From host being for Community Forum, and now you're also a charter member of the North Chicago Citizen Advisory Committee. For those that don't know you, most people, I guess, know you. Refresh us on your personal and professional background.
Okay, personally, I've been in the Lake County area since '75. I came here with my family, and I worked with the Illinois Department of Employment Security since coming here. It's one of the jobs that I had, and retired, raised my children here, and retired in last year, July 1st, 2014, and I wanted to become an active member of the community. So when the invitation was made by Mayor Rockingham that he needed some people to form the committee, I submitted my name for a nominee. And I've just been active with you and other committees since being in this area. So I was also a resident of Chicago before coming here, born and raised in Chicago, but have lived out here. So this is like Lake County is my other home, my second home. No, Chicago being my home for the last 15 years.
Well, I didn't mind sharing you with the mayor. I know he's got an outstanding person there to just so we don't lose you altogether with him.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Now our anchor person, Donna Lee Simon Kalinowski. You've been around North Chicago for a long time.
Very long time.
That you may want. I want to give you the same opportunity that I've given Tony and also Nina. Tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background.
Well, I have been in North Chicago for almost 70 years.
70 years.
And raised my family here.
Okay.
I worked in the school district for many, many years. I was a legal secretary in an attorney's office. And then I worked for the 19th Judicial Circuit Court system in Lake County, and that's where I retired from. I also have a son that is an attorney, so I didn't realize how many connections I had with the law. And then I went through the Citizens Police Academy, and that, by the way, is a requirement for being on this committee, so that we understand how and why the police officers do their job. And hopefully we can communicate that to the citizens if they have any questions. My friends always tease me. They say, wherever we go, I see someone that I know. And I thought, you know, maybe that can be put to good use, you know, to help communicate relations between our town and the citizens.
I was interested, and you was telling us about your son. He has a new position there as an attorney in Florida now?
Well, he's been an attorney for many years, but in Florida. But he was he's the chairman-elect for the Workman's Comp section of the Florida Bar Association.
Wow, fantastic.
So I'm proud of him.
Great. This is fantastic. North Chicago then and now, we've seen that we have a Citizen Advisory Committee now, but there was not a need for one years ago when 70 years ago, since you've been here. Why is there such a need now then compared to then?
I don't really understand the need for it because a lot of the same people are still here in town that were here 70 years ago. And I grew up with them. We were all friends. And I'm still friends with a whole lot of them. I think there's a whole new element of people that have come into our town. And I think the problems come from those that don't know each other.
You feel that we're having more police problems and with the input of people coming into the city that
I think so. I understand that a lot of the problems in our town come from some of the housing areas that were closed down in Chicago.
Okay.
And those people moved up here into our area.
Tony, Donna's been here for 70 years and she's seen a lot of changes and so forth. But tell us about some of those changes, what the problems that they may cause. One is unemployment, maybe the reason is joblessness is one of the reasons why it has created more problems for the police. And maybe, well, housing is another one, as we don't have the housing that we had before. But I think, would employment be the top of the list then?
I think those issues are there. I think they're legitimate issues, but I think one of the main issues is I think there's time now where there's a lack of respect on both sides, where there are police officers that don't respect the citizens. They're kind of like power-hungry police officers, and every department has them. I mean, it's one bad apple don't spoil the bunch, but every department has them. It's just hard to weed them out. And it's a lack of respect on the citizens for the police department. I mean, when I grew up in, like I said, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. There was officer friendly in school. There was, you know, you were actually basically afraid of the police. You respected them. You respected what they do. But at that time, at least it wasn't publicized the way it is now. There really wasn't a lot of confrontation. I mean, I ran into my share, but not like you see in the public now. And one of the things how that's out now is technology. Technology has improved over the years. You've got police cameras, you have car cameras, you got body cameras, you got smartphones. Everybody's recording everything, which is good because now it shows what's really happening. And as far as people in the African American community, we've been complaining about it for years. So now it's coming to light. So there really needs to be a change in behavior on both citizens and the police department. But one's not going to change if the other one doesn't change, because if you're not going to respect me, I'm not going to respect you. And that's the mentality that's going to be out there. And I think one of the purposes of this committee is to try to bridge that gap and to bring some of that respect back. Get the police involved more with getting to know people in the community and getting the community to know our police officers. And I mean, a lot of them, most police officers that work in the city don't live in the city. So so they they come here, they work, they go home. So they don't really get to know people in the community. And I mean, we have community days and different events, National Night Out, where the public interacts with the police department and they get to see another side of them. Police department used to put on a 3-on-3 basketball clinic. I used to actually work. I used to work it when with Max Rice used to be deputy chief of police. So I used to work it with her all the time. So just some of those things where the community actually got to know their police officers and can see them and actually call them by name when they see them. Hey, how you doing? And it's nice to have a police officer not know you because they arrested you, but know you because, hey, I played basketball with him, or hey, he was at this event. So how, you know, and speak to you that way. And we need more of that. So, and we're here to make sure that the public don't fear the police. You know, just to let them know that they're actually here to help you, but you got to help yourself as well. So, so I think this committee is a good idea, and hopefully one day we won't need it.
Well, Donna, what do you see as the primary reason for the establishment of the committee?
What I see? Well, it's like what our mission is. That our mission is that we're, as a citizen advisory committee, is to improve the relations between the citizens and the police department. And we're not the police department. We're just citizens just acting on the behalf of other citizens that may have a problem with the police department, if I'm correct, with that. And they may like to say like they don't want to go directly to the police. They want to just come to someone in the community that may understand what their concerns are before they take it to the police department. And what we try to do is diffuse a lot of the rhetoric that goes along when there's a incident that happens that becomes a major issue. And then you get a lot of rhetoric that put people in a frenzy where they don't even, most of them don't even know the truth or the information about the situation. They just hear and then they go off of that. And we're here to let the community know that we're here to listen to some of those concerns. We have other outlets, and we have a website, we have a hotline, you know, and the communications with the police is for the community, not just to be, you're over there, it's them against us. You know, it's supposed to be a combined effort. And that's where I see it going far if we reach our mission, if we believe in our mission and the goals that we've set for the committee.
Well, Tony, do you have the mayor or the police chief attend your committee meetings, or do you have a separate?
No, the police chief is normally there every month.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah, the mayor pops in if he's not busy. He pops in.
Okay.
But normally the police chief, and there's 2 liaison officers with the police department that actually attend as well.
Okay.
Plus the deputy chief of police, he comes as well. Not to every meeting, but normally there's at least one at every meeting, either the chief or the deputy chief or somebody at every meeting. So, and because during that meeting, there are certain things they have to report whether or not there were any complaints against the police officers involving use of force. So, and that's really what although people call us an oversight committee, where we're kind of watching the police department. We're really not an oversight to them, but in critical incidents where there's an officer involved shooting, or there's excessive force used by a police officer where an individual during an arrest had to go to the hospital for injuries or something. Those are things that we get notified of right away. And one of the most important things is we quash rumors. So we get to know, you know, this is what's happened, this is what's going on. We may not know exact details, and we may not be able to tell you everything that's going on with the case because it's an investigation, and we're not the police. We're that link between the citizens and the police department, so that you won't have rumor mills saying, oh, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this. Well, we can say, no, this is what happened. This case is being investigated, and we keep up with the investigation because they have to report. The chief has to report back to the committee on their findings. We can't recommend discipline, but we can make sure that the appropriate actions are taking place if it comes to that.
Good point you raised, because of the citizens in a personal program too, that you're not usurping the powers of the police department. The people, they should go to the police first. If they don't get satisfaction, then they could come to you to have you mediated. But they're not to usurp the police, but to come to you first.
Well, you know
In some
they
cases
can.
they can.
Yeah.
You know what? Like
they can.
Nina mentioned, we have a hotline, we have an email. And during this program, I'll give you the number and the email address. And that hotline.
She'll be able to put it on the screen.
Yeah,
I guess.
that hotline goes. It actually comes to my phone. We don't have a phone in City Hall. We don't have an office in City Hall.
Okay.
We have a number in City Hall because we are a government body. That number has to be a City Hall number. So there's a number in City Hall with no phone hooked to it. But if you call that number and leaves a voicemail, it goes to my phone. It goes to our email and it transforms it to an email and sent to my phone, and then I just disseminate it accordingly. So I mean, if you got a complaint about your neighbor, okay, you may want to go to the police department first. But I mean, if you got a complaint about officer such and such, and you really kind of don't want to go to the police department, that is an avenue to go to. However, what we get notified of is actual sworn complaints. If you have a complaint against an officer and you fill out a sworn affidavit saying, I have a complaint against this officer, we will get notified of that immediately. And we'll keep track of what's going on with the investigation, and we'll report findings. So with that individual or whoever needs to know. So that's one of the purposes of our committee.
Okay, I've heard mentioned, one of you did, about some crime prevention programs, the Night Out, and I think Donna may mention the Citizens Police Academy, and there was a neighborhood watch program when, I don't know whether it's still here or not in the city, and now you got a bicycle patrol program too within the police department. Donna, you mentioned, is it a requirement, you mentioned, the citizens to attend the Citizens Police Academy before they can be considered for the Citizen Advisory Committee?
Yes. For us to give an informed decision on anything, we have to know what we're dealing with.
Okay.
And the Citizens Police Academy guides us. We see what they do, we see why they do it, and we would fall back on that as to what should they be doing, are they doing it properly, and is an investigation necessary?
Now, would you encourage all citizens, or is it the academy open to all citizens in North Chicago to attend?
It's open to all North Chicago citizens over the age of 18. There is a new session starting. I believe it's September 10th. And I distributed 2 applications today.
Okay, okay.
It's really a very fun thing, and I would encourage anyone to participate in it. Simply because it helps you get to know the police officers, and they know you. And then they can understand where your concerns come from.
And also what they do too. I guess it's a training, in-service training program. You ride around with them and
Yes.
get a chance to know your city better too, and the communities and
Yes.
this type of thing.
And just a point of clarification, it's not a requirement to have the academy to get appointed to the position, but if you are appointed to the position, you have to go through the academy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
all right,
So,
all right.
yeah, I mean, but like she said, we encourage every citizen to go through it.
Right.
I think I was the only one that was exempt because
Yeah.
I already went through the academy.
Right.
Yeah, we all had the Academy of Training.
Fantastic. I'd like to throw this out though. Anytime anybody looking to relocate into any city, not only just North Chicago, any city, they look at the city services, they look at the park district, school district, and library, and all these other services. So you want to ensure that the city is really got programs going to encourage. And also, the city is also is involved in ensuring that, well, I should say they should have a committee among the other heads of the other services, park, school, so forth, so they can ensure that it would be enticing for people who want to relocate into a city like this, right?
And
Wow.
you know, and
You have to.
they actually have something like that. I think the mayor's office they started that My Brother's Keeper My Brother's Keeper.
That's it.
And that yeah, that involves department heads from just about every that's a school
Agency,
district, park district,
organizations.
this committee, everybody.
So you're involved with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Some members, yeah.
That's fantastic. Because it is extremely important. What about it? I mentioned about the Neighborhood Watch program. Is that?
Well, the Neighborhood Watch
encourage that too,
program, yeah, it's right now I think it's on hold until they get a trainer.
Oh,
Right.
Right.
We discussed that in our meetings
Yeah.
with the chief, because
Yeah.
that's one of the things we do. We got to promote crime prevention programs. So we ask the citizens to get involved with that too. Hey, what kind of programs do you want in your community? Do you want a neighborhood watch program, or do you have a better program that may benefit your
So
community?
they decide.
And they can benefit the city as a
citizens
whole.
decide.
Yeah, and well, they can work with the police department to work on those. So
Citizens have to participate to make
Right.
it successful.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Fantastic. Working relationship with Great Lakes Naval Base Police Department. Do we have a working relationship with them at all?
the
I would say.
North Chicago Police Department does.
Okay, the reason I
Because-
mentioned that because sailors, come through North Chicago.
Right. Well, I think a while back, the police powers of the Great Lakes Police were changed,
Oh.
and North Chicago Police had to start patrolling those housing areas and all that. I don't know whether it's still like that. I believe it is. So I'm sure they have a great working relationship. I mean, I know when I was working, and I know the North Chicago Police Department and Great Lakes Police Department had a very good working relationship. So
Okay.
I'm sure that hasn't changed.
But excuse me.
So what are some of the things that you're doing that would really, well, this is one, the program here, to pique the interest among citizens that, hey, I want to be a part of that committee or attend committee meetings and so forth. How would you generate enthusiasm for citizens that want to participate?
I have several different forms. I am vice president of the North Chicago Senior Citizens Club,
Okay.
and I found the majority of the senior citizens in our community lock their doors, they don't go out, they don't participate in any city meetings or functions, and it's an effort to get them out of the house. And I feel satisfaction in the fact that for the Citizens Night Out and the Community Days events, I have encouraged and successfully had a positive result from the Senior Citizens Club. I also recruit members for each police academy, and every single person that's gone through it has thanked me and said they loved it, they felt they came out of it understanding our police department a lot better. And I also went through the Citizens Fire Academy, and I understand now, I don't know for a fact, but I have heard that there's a possibility there may be some sessions that are joint sessions between the police and the fire academies. And that could be interesting. But just getting people out of their homes and participating in projects that the city is promoting, I think is always beneficial.
Yeah, and our biggest thing is trying to get the word out because people don't know who we are, and I'm so glad you invited us to your show.
I'm glad you came. My ratings will go up now.
We try to participate in just about all the events. The National Night Out, we were there. The Community Days, we were there. The Stop the Violence forums, we were there. Just passing out information, passing out the word. This is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we do. here's our number, here's our card, call us. I mean, we even give out our cell phone number. So,
And our aldermen's ward meetings we attend.
We attend those too. So,
Yes.
so we're getting out there,
bases there,
and people are starting to understand who we are and what we do. Nobody's contacted us yet, but
Yes.
It's not your
but
fault.
we're there.
Though,
Yeah.
I would like to say this, though. I might mention this, maybe. This is very professionally done here. City of North Chicago Citizens Advisory Committee, and you have the pictures, photographs of all the members of the committee, and you got your vision, your goals and objectives, and so forth. I congratulate you with this. You wanna tell us about this, though? What would people find? And I know you got your mission and your goals. You have a ton of goals in here, you know, and the ultimate vision. I think you mentioned too, though. You like to work yourself out of business, but that probably, I think we agree, that probably won't happen because you have policemen. The turnover. The turnover is great, I guess. Agree. I know people come in and they're like any other job, you know, they look for other opportunities. So you probably won't work yourself out of business. Right. But tell us about, and this didn't take long either because you organized, what, April you said of last year, and this is done already.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the first priorities we had was to get our mission, our goals, and our vision together. Put it on paper and get it out there. And this is also available online. If you go to the city's website, I think it's www.northchicago.org, and you click on the departments and go under the police department, and under the police department you'll see a heading that says Citizens Advisory Committee, and that'll say everything. That our missions, our goals. It has our bios in there of all the members. And I should mention there are 4 other members to the committee. There's Tabitha Ray, there's John Glitch, there's David Stoner, and Lamont Hannah.
So there's 7 members.
There's 7 members. And I'm the chairman, and John Glitch is the secretary. So we don't have a treasurer because we don't have a budget.
This is all volunteer.
So, yeah, it's all volunteer. Okay. But yeah, like I said, our vision would be to work ourselves out of a job, but it won't happen. And our turnover rate, I mean, I don't think there's much of a turnover rate anymore, not as bad as it was before with our police department. I think most of the officers are staying longer. I mean, there was a time, I remember back, there was a time, this was like a training ground. Okay. They come here, go to the academy, stay 2-3 years, and they were gone.
But they want to feel safe too, and know that they do have a city that's really concerned about them too.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they're a person, you'll keep them long if they're happy on the job. That's any job, right? If you're happy on the job, you'll stay. I noticed the first one here is conduct an unbiased, non-political quest for the truth. In other words, even though you're appointed by the mayor, you still non-political?
That's right.
You can't be political, not in this job.
Very definitely.
You cannot be political in this job.
In fact, when we were coming up with these goals, I fought for those words non-political in there.
Okay.
I think any quest for the truth has to be non-political.
Right.
And even though we were appointed, I wouldn't have any qualms telling the mayor if I felt something was wrong.
And also that, you know, the conduct is to be conducted under an unbiased situation. Because if you have somebody that's biased to a situation, it could sway how our decisions come. You have to just be completely like neutral and hear what the facts are that's presented, so that we can go to the community and present to them, you know, the information that's required for them to hear to keep the peace in the neighborhoods and in the city.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what we are. We're just trying to keep the peace. You know, there's situations that will come up and have came up that were very insightful, but we were created to help to be that bridge between the citizens and the police department.
And that was a vital a need for a citizen advisory committee. Like you say, it was recommended by the Department of Justice.
Right.
They
Yes.
came and had a meeting with the mayor and decided that that this is one of the goals, not one of the goals, but one of the things that has to be done.
Right, and it wasn't a requirement. It was
It's a recommendation.
They,
So
they recommend.
yeah,
Yeah,
they just recommend.
I guess
But
they come in.
I'm
yeah.
glad that I'm glad the mayor did it. Yeah, I'm glad he
Yes.
listened to their recommendation, but
Yeah.
because it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So
Because we did have situations that were pretty rough here with the police and the citizens,
yes,
you know, and but what about youth in the city of North Chicago? Do they still fear the police? I guess that's what most of your problems are with the youth, and not, I don't know, maybe with the adults too, but I don't hear about adults too much. Usually with the youth.
well, that to me that goes back to that respect thing. I mean,
Yes.
it's teaching them to respect each other. It's making the police officers more aware of their conduct and getting them to respect the citizens. Because if you want respect, if you want to earn it, you got to give it. So if you don't give respect, nobody's going to respect you. So you have to. I mean, you wear a badge, you wear a gun, and you got you have a little authority. But I mean, it still goes back to home training. You respect, respect. And just like the youth, respect your elders. I mean, you go back to your home training, you respect your elders. I mean, you don't respect the police, who else do you respect? I mean, it's funny because I always said, you know what, you don't respect me until the time that you need me.
Okay.
So it's, and when you need me, now I'm the greatest person in the world. But as soon as your problem's solved, you don't like me anymore. So.
If I could backtrack on that a little bit, I was the secretary in the Juvenile Detention Center.
Oh.
And when parents came in to visit their children, I could see why their children were behind bars. It was the parental attitude. I think somehow or other the parents' attitudes changed since I was a child. And their children just did not get the guidance that would allow them to grow into honorable adults. But there are several programs now. I know that police department has Citizens Police Academy for children in the junior high level. The kids love it. And one of the favorite things that I saw during community days, and it was hot this day, was 2 police officers up on stage in full uniform dancing with these children. There were kids playing basketball, there were kids in the skate park. When they got up there, they were dancing something called Nene that I didn't know anything about, but I liked it. By the time they got going, they cleared that basketball court and the skateboard. It was wonderful to look around and see a whole park full of kids dancing. And then adults joined in with it. It was really a fun community type situation.
Fantastic.
Where they are trying to reach the kids.
And that was one of the things that I liked about the community days also, is that even though with the police presence, it wasn't that fear of one against the other. It was just a community coming together. And I'm glad that the city of North Chicago and the mayor have created this sort of platform for the citizens to come out. And it gets them to know all of the different departments that are there. And, it's just the community coming together. We wanted to be bigger each year, and they went like, this is their, was it the 10th year? The 10th year. And each year it gets bigger and bigger, so.
Prior to community days, there was a Navy Day. I don't know, you remember that. They had Navy Days, we had the Navy involvement, but we don't have it anymore.
Didn't that just involve like a parade where they marched through town and ended up in the football field?
Okay. And also they had a breakfast there, too, at breakfast there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We don't have that anymore, yeah. Well, what about, do you consider yourself a proactive or reactive committee?
Both.
I think we should be
We're
both.
Right. We're more proactive right now. We're trying to, yeah, we're proactive. We're trying to get our,
Right.
We
We're
don't
trying to
want
get-
to
we're trying
have
to get
to be
knowledge.
Reactive,
reactive.
but we're both
Right.
considering. And that's our goals. You know, we even written in our goals about the respect and the integrity and the understanding.
Right.
We have to have respect for each other and the integrity that we have to believe in the services that we're paying taxes for. You know, we're not paying taxes to get beat up all the time. We want to understand why these things happen and what can be prevented from it evolving into something more serious. And that's what our committee does. We discuss all different issues, but we, you know, pretty much as a family here in North Chicago and as a family with the police academy, even though Tony has all the training, we look to him like, you know, he's our mentor. He has to guide us through what we're going through as a committee, and he's done very well with that and keeps us together as a team, you know.
I
So we
mentioned
all
about
work
the
together.
problems with the youth, but if the youth, more youth could go through this academy to see, because, you know, I'll be honest with you, I learned something here. I was stopped by a policeman one time, just a friendly stop though, but I had to, he reminded me that I had to put my hands on the steering wheel. And I didn't realize how important that was, you know, but that's the main.
That's very, you know what, I have a 27-year-old son, and from the time he started driving, I told him, I said, Anthony, if you ever get stopped, I need you to turn your hazard lights on, turn the light on inside the car, put both hands on the steering wheel, and don't move until that officer gets there, because
It's very important.
he's gonna relax. He's gonna, you know, because you never know what you're walking up on. You hear the routine traffic stop. Well, there is no routine traffic stop because you
Right.
never know what's gonna happen
Right,
when
right.
you get there. So, but that officer would be more comfortable if he sees that. And
And is that a requirement or so too, that or you just recommend that you do that?
you know what? It's not a requirement, but I will tell you one of the things that I was taught is that if you're gonna hurt me, it's gonna be your hands.
Okay.
When the car, you can't do anything. I mean, if I'm walking up to the car, what's gonna hurt me is your hands. So as long as I see your hands, I'm good. It's when you start reaching to the glove compartment, reaching, that's what piques our.
Well, if you don't do it, the officer will ask you to.
Yeah.
Right, because they always want to see your hands.
Yeah. What about women? We have more women now involved in police than ever before now, and I guess it's the same because we got more prisons built for women, you know, and so women are becoming more proactive, you know, in doing things that cause them to become incarcerated now. And I don't know where there's any statistics to show that more women are being arrested than not more than men, but an increase in women.
Well, I can't answer that
must be-
because
Yeah,
we
I
don't
don't
have
know that.
But I
statistics
know
of that
for a
kind.
fact there are more prisons being built now for
More prisons are being built,
For
and
women, yeah.
and if we don't get our children corrected, they're going to be in another community called the prison community
You always
and the
hear-
juvenile community, and we're trying to be here as a committee to prevent, hopefully to prevent some of those things while they're young,
And
like
the
the programs in the schools now. You know, the police department is really working hard under Chief Jackson to change this image in North Chicago. We are a city of a community of people. We want to be safe. We want to be like Gurnee and all these other towns that are around us. You know, we want to be a safe community. So as a committee, that is like one of our goals also, you know, to come, you know, get the citizens to come to our meetings. The police academy training is free to citizens of North Chicago. Now, it may be a cost for other communities to come in, but they're free to come to this
And
program.
it's only one day a week.
And it's one day a week
For how long?
For about
11
11
weeks.
weeks.
Okay.
Yes, and you learn a lot. I mean, you get to know
One
the
of
officers and
the
everything.
most informative sessions of the police academy, in my opinion, is the session, I think it's entitled Shoot or Don't Shoot,
Yes.
where they strap a gun on you. You're at one.
Not a real gun.
Not a real gun.
Okay.
It's an
It's all
air,
pellet.
It's all
an
simulation.
It's all
air gun,
simulation,
I think
yeah.
it is, wasn't it?
It's a pellet, I think.
Anyway, we were at one end of a long hallway and we heard a commotion in a room on the other end. And we were the responding officer to this call. We had to run down that hall, go in there, and then make an immediate decision as to what was happening. And there are 2 people in that room, and there are weapons involved. And you're faced with the situation of what would a real police officer have to do. And I have to tell you this, the majority of the people in my class shot the victim, not the offender.
But I was the only one that didn't shoot them.
I didn't, you
I
were
didn't
in my
shoot them.
class.
I got shot. I got shot, man, but I shot the right one.
But it just shows
But it was fun.
the stress a police officer might be in and how they have to make snap decisions and how an error can be made.
That goes back to the hands.
Right.
That's-
It
Yes.
goes
that's
back to
your
the hands because
Yes.
it was a demonstration of the hands and where they were placed and what the officers. Was
Yes.
doing. It was an interesting scenario.
Very, very informative.
Well, can I conclude the program without talking about the cultural makeup of the police department? Have you ever
I don't know the statistics
been involved?
for North Chicago.
I know that they hired 15 new recruits
Yes.
and trainees. They were all trained now. They're all out on the, what they call it, the beat or whatever they call it. They're all active now. And we've met them during the training. And we met them during community days last year.
Right.
They were all like, hey, we got a good team here, and we just want to keep the relationship between the community and the police
The
department.
only reason I mention that is because, North Chicago is, the cultural makeup has changed in 70
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
it changed. And I mean, if you try to ensure that the makeup on the police department, fire department, whatever, is commensurate with the makeup of the
It should always be.
of the city.
Right.
But Dr.
If you
Brooks,
don't have that, then, and that's what
Right.
caused a lot of.
well, that's absolutely true, but it also depends on who's want to come here, who's qualified,
Yeah.
who's on the list.
Yeah.
So we have to get people that want, our people in our community to be more diversified, to have a goal for their life, to make it their, goal to be on a police department or be on a fire department or get into those type of services. Then
Yeah.
there'll be more diversity.
Yeah, and just one thing, and I'll leave that. Recently, I don't know how long ago it was changed. The qualifications were changed. You have to have a degree
Yes.
to take the test. That would cut down on the number of.
Well, there are differences of opinions when it comes to degrees and the qualifications. I know for instance, when I came on the job, when I applied for the state police,
Okay.
all you needed was a high school diploma.
Okay,
But while I was
right,
going through the
right.
process, that changed to where you needed an associate's degree. Now you need a bachelor's degree. And so, and pretty soon, sure enough, it's going to say you're going to need a master's degree. But and it's like that now. If you want to get promoted to a certain rank, if you want to get promoted to a certain rank, you got to have a master's degree.
To look at North Chicago, though, the makeup, we have a high dropout rate, because that's improving, I guess, and a high dropout rate in the city of North Chicago. So if you raise the requirements, then the level of qualification go down, then you're still not going to reach the goal.
This is true.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about
but that's
children.
set by the merit board. That's a merit board of Police and Fire Commission here in North Chicago, so that they set those.
Yeah, and
But-
because that could be some recommendations, you could make and to consider, you know, this type of thing, you know.
And I know one thing before we close out, I would like to give our phone number.
Okay.
So that
And encourage
Yeah,
citizens to come to our meetings when they are
right,
posted.
our phone number is 847-596-8644.
You know, I may put it probably put it on the screen now, but okay.
847-596-8644.
Okay.
And that number it just leaves a voicemail, and that voicemail would go to me. It'll come to an email to me.
Okay.
Or if you want to email me, the email address is NCCAC, it's North Chicago Citizens Advisory Committee, nccac@northchicago.org. And we are the only ones with access to that email. So don't be concerned about anybody at the City Hall getting the email, because emails and voicemails only come to us. So that's why we don't have an active phone sitting there on the desk somewhere.
Okay.
So, and we don't have a computer there.
Completely
So
neutral.
it's completely neutral.
Fantastic. Well, all of you have spoken well, and like I say, I know my ratings will be going up.
Phone calls.
And we're talking about things that's happening to make North Chicago a world-class city, and this is one of the ways it's going to contribute to that.
Yes.
And
And
we
please attend our meeting. Our next meeting is November 9th at 6 o'clock. So right at City Hall. So it's open to the public. Feel free to attend one of our meetings. It'd be real nice.
Bring your comments,
That's right. Bring your comments.
your
bring
concerns,
or your suggestions.
suggestions.
You know, I was just thinking, if you had you email me a notice, and I could send it out on my email
Okay.
address. You know, I could. Well, you got my
Okay,
email
yeah,
address.
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah,
I'll
that's right.
share it.
Send me that November 9th, at
November 9th at 6 o'clock,
6 o'clock,
6 p.m.
and at City Hall.
Yes.
City Hall.
Well, I want to thank you very much for literally taking time from your busy schedules, you know, to be with us, and especially Donna. She's been in North Chicago for 70 years.
70 years.
And she's seen a lot of changes and so forth. Matter of fact, husband was fire department, you know, so he had a chance to look at that, and with you have you got a chairman here with a wealth of experience here, and to lead and guide you, and
That's right.
and Donna with her government experience and so forth. You had mentioned that, you know, but your government experience and so forth, and you know the city pretty well. You've been active
Yes.
and doing a great job. Well, I'll tell you what. We talked about the vision. You may want to touch upon that again. Give us a vision of the supervisory committee. I guess Tony will be the
And
one
Tony
to
would
do
be the
that.
one to do that.
Well, as our vision statement said, it's our hope that we want to create an environment where the police department and the citizens collaborate,
Okay.
and in their efforts to hold themselves to the highest standards, where we can just instill trust back in our citizens and our police department, where our citizens trust our police officers and our police officers respect our citizens, and maintain just a safe, welcoming city. So.
Now, does the police department go over? You mentioned about either the chief or assistant chief is going to be at each
liaison.
meeting, you know. But do they discuss their policies and procedures? It might be a rhetorical question, I know.
You know what? If a particular policy or procedure comes into question, they will. But we can review their policies and procedures, and we can make recommendations if we see something that's, you know what, maybe if you try doing it this way, it may seem a little better. And you know, they take those suggestions and they'll let us know whether or not they change the policy or give us reasons why it has to be that way.
Okay.
And that's one of the biggest things that I can do, because I know all about policies and procedures when it
Yes,
comes to
you
police
do.
departments. So I can review a policy and say, hey, you know, maybe can move it and do it a little bit this way or that way, depending on what the city does.
I noticed on your brochure you have a very cultural, diverse committee,
Yes.
and you're well represented by women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus the men have the edge there. You have 4 men and three
But
women.
they running it. Don't get me wrong.
But it's well diverse, and I'm sure you have very good meetings. Well, what I mentioned since I mentioned about women, do you feel that you have the voice there? Again, Donna and Nina both, that you're not dominated by men. You got one more man than female, but you feel comfortable.
At our committee meetings,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes.
We all have the opportunity to state our feelings, our opinions, and our ideas.
Yes.
We're all outspoken, but
Yes.
they're more outspoken.
But in the end, we come
That's
together
right.
as a
But in the end,
team.
we come together as a team.
Yeah,
That's what's important.
It seems like you have from the representative here, that you have a great team and to
We
work
do.
together. So
We do.
The nice part is we all like each other.
Yes, we do.
that's the key.
That helps.
Yes.
It's important to have love for one another.
That's
Yes,
right.
we do.
Yeah.
And we got the same
And
same
love
goal.
for community too.
Regardless of what this is, personally, we have the same goals.
Right.
So
Very important. Okay. Now, is the mission reviewed periodically, or is it?
it's fairly new.
Yeah,
So,
not that old.
yeah, it's not that old. It's only about a year old. So,
Okay. But
But mostly the mission and the goals were things that we've had in heart for the city and for the citizens, from the citizens that we've heard over the years. So we incorporated that into what we wanted as a mission and goals, so it includes all of us. So it's like it's part of us. So it wasn't anything that was strange or we had to throw something together.
right.
It was everything that we do it as we have the heart to do that for the city.
to your knowledge, the other cities probably have it too, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with representatives from the North Chicago Citizen Advisory Committee. They all are charter members. The committee has been organized since April of 2014. Anthony Tony Jones, the chairman of the North Chicago Citizen Advisory Committee. We have Donna Lee Simon Kalinowski, our anchor person, the charter member of the Citizen Advisory Committee, and of course, Nina Hampton Stokes, charter member of North Chicago Citizen Advisory Committee. We hope you've been benefited from the information that has been promulgated to you. And the next Citizen Advisory Committee is November 9th at 6 p.m. at City Hall. We hope you'll be able to attend. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.